Hi, my name is Audrey Follett, and every week my family wages war against heaps of laundry and dirty dishes. We used to lose every week, but now we always win. It's because we clean consciously. To do this, we have to use the best cleaner possible. However, when choosing cleaner, we have to be very careful because most cleaner isn't cleaner at all. It's poison. How do I know this? Well, a few years ago, my cousin bit into a laundry pot and suffered permanent damage because of it. Obviously, when her mother bought this product, it was marketed as a cleaner for children's clothes. She never thought it would lead to her child's hospitalization. So, today I'm going to be showing you how to make some safe cleaners. Cleaners that will help you win your war. First, I'm going to show you how to make a safe but useful bleach alternative. It's important to have a good bleach alternative recipe because most store-bought bleach actually damages your respiratory system. For this, you're going to need a jug or other storage container, a small bowl, a whisk, and a funnel. You're also going to need 1/4 cup lemon juice, 1/4 cup hydrogen peroxide, and 1/4 cup baking soda. First, you're going to add all your ingredients into your bowl. Lemon juice is antiseptic and antibacterial, and it also smells really good. Hydrogen peroxide is also antiseptic, and it whitens and brightens fabric. Last but not least, baking soda removes unwanted odor. Now you're going to whisk your ingredients around in the bowl. The baking soda will start to dissolve into the other liquids. Once you're done stirring, you're going to use your funnel to put it into your jug for easier storage. Now you're done. This bleach alternative can be used just like normal bleach, and don't forget to label your new cleaner. Another chore we do quite often, and one of my least favorites, is the dishwasher. I have a great dish detergent recipe. For this, you're going to need a jar or other storage container, a medium bowl, a spoon, and a clean funnel. You're also going to need 1.5 cups of citric acid. Citric acid kills bacteria, mold, and mildew, and is used as a preservative in many cleaners. Then, 1/2 cup of washing soda. Washing soda removes those hard-to-get stains and softens water so that other ingredients can remove dirt and grime. You're also going to need 1/2 cup of sea salt and 1/2 cup of baking soda. Baking soda, as I said before, removes odor, and sea salt is abrasive and is a gentle scouring agent. Now, you're going to use your spoon to mix all your ingredients together. When it is well combined, it should look like this. Now, using my funnel, I'm going to move it into my jar. Again, this is just for easier storage. For the purposes of today, I'm not going to move all my detergent into the jar. I have one more cleaner for the day. This cleaner will clean your glass showers and your tile. And all you need is a spray bottle, a spoon, another funnel, a cup water, and 1/2 cup vinegar. First, you're going to use your spoon to put the ingredients into your spray bottle. You want to make sure that the water you're using is distilled because it lacks bacteria that normal water might have. Lastly, you're going to add your vinegar, which will remove all kinds of dirt and grime. Now, I'm going to put my lid back on. And I'm going to shake it around to mix it up. Now my spray is done. Today, I taught you how to make 3 homemade and safe cleaners. I hope you find this information useful. Thank you. Any questions?
My name is Daniel Averett. Today I'm going to tell you about meat pens and commercial rabbits. So besides what even is a meat pen, I'm also going to tell you about how they're judged, care for a successful meat pen, as well as the other commercial classes. First of all, you may want to know what is a meat pen. It's 3 rabbits that are the same breed variety, but not necessarily all bucks or all does, that are 70 days old or less and weigh between 3.5 and 5.5 pounds. You may have a question for yourself. Do you want to breed or buy your meat pen? Most county fairs, like here at Hendricks, require you to breed your meat pen. And if you win with a meat pen that you can breed yourself, it's a lot more satisfying than if you would go out and buy one. To breed for your meat pen, breed 100 days before the day of your show. Rabbits have a 31-day gestation period, so that'll put you around that 69 to 70 days old to get that prime age. There's several different 6-class and meat type rabbits that you can breed, but the ones that you're going to see that are most common are going to be your New Zealand and your Californians. These rabbits work great because they have quick growth rates to get you up near that 5.5 pounds. They also have white pelts, which is what the processor wants because then they can use them for things like dyeing to make different kind of things like pillows or blankets out of. So here's a diagram I made on kind of like the theory about how to breed for them. So I have the blue as the buck and the pink as the doe. So I bred the pink and the blue together a couple times to get the second generation, which is labeled by 2. All these are different does, but they all are genetically identical. Then I bred them back up to the same buck and got all these 3rd generations. These are babies, and for the meat pen, you would want to take the best one out of each pen, out of each litter that will create the best meat pen. Even though that these rabbits are from different parents, they all are identically related, so therefore they should have the same faults and the same strengths. Schedule points for a meat pen is 40 for the meat type, 30 for the condition, 20 for uniformity, and 10 for fur. It's important to know this when you're evaluating your animals because if not, you may put emphasis on one thing too much or not enough emphasis on something important. So meat type is the first thing and the most important thing to realize. It has meat in the name. You want a big wide loin. That's where the majority of the meat comes from. You can see here on the picture on the left, the narrow loin, how it kind of tapers down and gets thinner as it goes on. The rabbit on the right has a thick loin. It's very wide, and also you can actually feel the thickness of it. You can see there from the picture. Condition of flesh. This is kind of in 2 areas. The first thing would be squeezing the actual loin of the rabbit. When you squeeze it, it should be hard like a basketball. It shouldn't give in when you squeeze it. Next thing also is a tight pelt. Around the shoulders, when you kind of pull up the fur, you shouldn't really get any. To make sure that you get that good fur flesh condition, you should not scruff your rabbit when you pick it up or when you flip it over. Next thing is uniformity. Uniformity includes the weight, condition, fur, and the flesh. So uniformity, the best rabbit will not always come from the best meat pen. One really good rabbit and a pen of 2 average rabbits can completely ruin it for uniformity. So you can see that the rabbits here on their legs, you'd be better off having all 3 rabbits with the poor meat going down the leg on the left than you would have 2 of those and then 1 good one on the right. That 1 good one could spoil the entire pen as far as uniformity goes. Next thing is fur. This is only worth 10 points. However, it's either you have it or you don't. One thing to keep in mind is that on the California rabbits, which you can see on here, they'll get something called smut, which happens typically when they get cold. They get what looks like dirt on the fur, and the only way for that to go away is if the rabbit molts or sheds its coat. This is a DQ on the California breed. However, for meat pens and the rest of the commercial breeds, they are not to be disqualified for this. Next thing is the rate of gain. This is how fast your rabbits grow. This is really important because you need to make sure that they're consistently growing, and because there's 20 points on uniformity, you need all those rabbits to be at the same weight. So I like to use a high protein feed for my rabbits. This way, they can get a good growth rate, which will help them be able to grow. Because once they get older, they get a slower growth rate, and they need to make a good senior weight once they're fully grown. Some different extras and treats you can give them are oats and hay. This way, they don't get fat. One thing you don't want on a meat pen rabbit is a lot of gut on them because they are called a meat pen. They need to have a lot of meat. You don't want things that will create a lot of weights and fattiness. Caging. This is very important to separate the rabbits at as young as 6 weeks old. That way, you know that one rabbit's not getting more food than the other, and also so you can monitor the weight. So you may see that one rabbit's just shooting up in weight. You might want to back down on the feed a little bit. So there's 3 other commercial classes besides the meat pen. That's the fryer, the roaster, and the stewer. The fryer is just one rabbit from a meat pen. So a meat pen is made out of 3 single fryers. These rabbits have the same requirements, and they need to be between 3.5 and 5.5 pounds. Roasters are the age above fryers. These rabbits weigh between 5.5 and 9 pounds, and they're under 6 months old. The next thing is the stewer. This is a full-grown commercial rabbit. Scheduled points for fryers, roasters, and stewers is 50, 40, 10, which is meat type, condition, and fur. So today I'm going to talk to you about what a meat pen is, how to judge meat pens, single fryers, roasters, and stewers, the care and growing of a successful meat pen, and how to make sure they're conditioned properly. And also, I finished it off with telling you about the other commercial classes. Thank you.
My name is Cameron Shannon. Today, I'll be telling you how to shoot and take care of a bow on your own range. The 4 main points I'll be going over today are your equipment, taking care of your bow, the range, and shooting your bow. Starting off with our equipment. Today, I have a Genesis bow. These bows are great for beginners and families because of the poundage, how hard the bow is to pull back. It's very easy to adjust, and you draw weight, draw length is very easy to adjust, so it can fit an adult as well as a child. Let's go over some of the bow's basic anatomy. First of all, you have the handle and the arrow rest. These 2 parts of the bow are very important. The reason is because it tells you what type of bow it is. If it is a left-handed bow, the bow you pull back with your left hand, or if it is the right-handed bow, the bow you pull back with your right hand. How the arrow rest tells you is by which side it's on. If it is on the left side, it is a right-handed bow. If it's on the right side, it's a left-handed bow. Next, you have the 2 bolts where you can tighten or loosen, which you can tighten or loosen to raise or lower the poundage. The tighter they are, the higher the poundage is, and the looser they are, the lower the poundage is. How you tighten these is with the Allen wrench. One thing about the bolts is that they need to be adjusted equally. If they're not adjusted equally, it can cause problems with the bow. You'll either take it in to get fixed, or learn how to fix it yourself. Next, you have the bow ends. The bow ends will either be made of wood or plastic. This bow's ends are made out of plastic. After that, you have the cams. The cams are a simple device that the string is wrapped around to generate extra power without making the string any harder to pull back. Last but not least, the string. On the string, you should see one metal bead. Under this metal bead is where you'll put your arrow on the string. That is called knocking your arrow. Let's talk about arrows. There are several different types of arrows, but today I'm only going to be talking about two: aluminum arrows and carbon fiber arrows. Aluminum arrows are considered safer than carbon fiber arrows. The reason being that carbon fiber arrows get cracks in them, and if they're shot while they're damaged, they can break and damage you or your bow. That's why many prefer aluminum arrows. But aluminum arrows are much more of a hassle. The reason that aluminum arrows are much more of a hassle is that they can get bent, and if they're bent, your shots will not be accurate. And they can bend. You can straighten aluminum arrows, but if the bend is too severe, it will not work. So that's why I prefer carbon fiber arrows. Even though they can be more dangerous if damaged, it's not hard to check to see if there is damage. How you do that is you simply look at the arrow to see if there are any cracks or scrapes on it. And if you don't see anything, you can hold the arrow to your ear, slowly twist and bend the arrow. If you hear any cracking or scraping, the arrow is damaged and you should not use it. But if you hear silence, then the arrow is safe to use. Now let's talk about the two things on arrows which are virtually the same among every arrow out there. And these two things are the fletchings and the knock. The fletching's job is to make the arrow fly through the air straight and not wobble so it doesn't throw off your aim. And the knock's job is to put the arrow to your bowstring and make sure it doesn't fall off until you shoot the bow. One note about the fletchings is that one fletching will be a different color than the other two. The reason for this is when you shoot your bow, you want this fletching oriented away from the body. The reason being that if it was oriented towards the body, it would hit the bow handle and make the arrow wobble, making your shot less accurate. Now, the arrow tip. Target arrow tips is what I'll be talking about today. This arrow obviously does not have a tip for safety reasons, but if it did, you would just see the arrow shaft slinging down to tip. And the reason for this on target arrows is because you want the arrow to go into the target and come out of the target with causing the least amount of damage to the target that you can, so the targets will last a very long time. Now, let's talk about taking care of our bow. There are two things that you never want to do to your bow. The first is dry firing. Dry firing a bow is when you fire a bow without an arrow on the string. This can cause damage to the string, cams, and the limbs of the bow. So never dry fire the bow. If you pull the bowstring back without an arrow on it, let it down slowly, as you've seen me do this entire time. And the other thing that you never want to do to your bow is put your bow on the ground. If you put your bow on the ground, you get dirt and dust on the cams and in the string. If dirt is on the cams or in the string, then it will actually act as a saw, and over time it will snap the string. This could be dangerous if you were shooting your bow and the string were to snap. That can cause damage to you, obviously damage to your bow. Now, the one thing of maintenance that you do want to do to your bow is wax the string. Over time, the strings will begin to fray, and this is a huge problem. All you need to do is apply bow wax. And you can buy this at any sporting goods store or bow shop. You simply apply the wax to the string, and then rub the wax in with your fingers. And then that should fix any fraying problems that you're going to have. Now, let's talk about ranges. There are many different parts to an important and safe range. So, I'm going to use this illustration to explain. First of all, you have the waiting line. And the waiting line is where anyone who is not shooting the bow would stand. Then you have the shooting. And this is where anyone who is shooting the bow will shoot from. Thirdly, you have the target. And this is where the targets will be lined up. And most importantly, you may ask, why is beyond so important? Well, you need to make sure there are no people, animals, or property behind your range. Because it's very likely that an arrow will go over the target, and it could damage both people and your property. So make sure that you have a safe range behind it. Now, how do you actually shoot a bow? Well, you want to start on the shooting line. If you go to the shooting line, you want to be straddling the shooting line, which means run. One leg on one side of the shooting line, and one leg on the other side of the shooting line. Now, then you want to make sure your posture is good. Because if you don't have straight shoulders, then that can throw off your aim as well. Because if you don't have the same posture every time, then it will throw off your aim. Then you grab an arrow and knock it on your string. Put it on the arrow rest, pull your bow back, aim, and fire. One more note about ranges. There is an important thing of safety, and that is a ceasefire. A ceasefire means to stop shooting. Anyone on a range can call a ceasefire at any time. If they see something unsafe, if someone is goofing off, you can call a ceasefire. And everyone will stop shooting, and then the ceasefire will be resolved, and they will commence shooting. So now you know about bows, arrows, how to take care of them, how a safe range works, and how to shoot. Thank you for your time. My name is Hendricks.
The moon, the stars, the galaxies, and 4-H. There's one thing all four of these have in common. Can you guess what it is? I will give you a hint. According to collinsdictionary.com, it means, quote, extremely good or impressive, end quote. Give up? I will tell you. The moon, the stars, the galaxies, and 4-H are all of this world. And there are 3 really good reasons why I believe this about 4-H. When you are a part of 4-H, you get to learn whatever your interests are. It helps you develop leadership qualities, and it also gives you the opportunity to make great memories. The first reason why 4-H is out of this world is because it helps you grow your interests. When you are part of 4-H, you get to do things that you are interested in. There are projects like health, arts and crafts, photography, and cake decorating. There are shooting sports, sports fishing, and communications, which is what I'm doing right now. There are livestock options where you can show a cow, a goat, or even a dog. Based on your interests, you can show what you learn by building a poster, making a project, or showing an animal. According to Purdue website for Hendricks County, there are at least 66 projects, which doesn't even include entering multiple animals in different classes. Wherever your interest is, 4-H has you covered because it is out of this world. The second reason why 4-H is out of this world is because it develops leadership qualities. This can sound like a scary thing, but 4-H does it in a completely non-scary fun way. Most of the time you don't even realize that is what you're doing. Anyone who joins 4-H gets to join a 4-H club, and in your club, you can be an officer like the secretary or even the president. Or you can join a committee like the hospitality or game committee. There's also the junior leaders program. When you are a junior leader, you may collect supplies for local not-for-profits, help adult leaders, and help with one of the many 4-H programs, like the annual 4-H fair. By volunteering and being a part of committees, you're developing your character and strong leadership qualities, which is the second reason why 4-H is out of this world. The final reason 4-H is out of this world is because it helps you make great memories. One of the best ways to do this is by joining a club. At club meetings, you meet new people. Through games and volunteering, you get to know them better and soon laughing and making memories. Like at the county fair, which is another awesome way to make those memories happen. You will pass people you know and send a quick smile to them. You will laugh with your, by now, old friends, making even more fantastic memories happen. Which is the final reason 4-H is out of this world. In conclusion, you have heard 3 good reasons why 4-H is out of this world. It helps you grow your interest. It gives you the opportunity to develop your leadership qualities, and it gives you the opportunity to make great memories. Thank you.
Something you don't want to hear when you bring in your poultry into fair is that you can't bring them because they have mites, lice, or foot infection. I raise chickens, and sometimes there's too much moisture in the coop. I want to find the most absorbent material to put down to help with this problem. There are many different opinions on what is the best material. Today I'm going to talk to you about, first, problems with wet litter, second, what types of materials can be used, and finally, an experiment I did to find the most absorbent material to put down in your coop. Number 1, problems with wet litter. It allows bacteria and fungus to grow. It gives off a harmful gas that can irritate chickens' eyes, nasal membranes, and decrease their food intake. The birds can get diseases like coccidiosis and respiration diseases. Insects like flies and mites are attracted to wet environments. Wet litter is a result of dirty feathers, bumblefoot, and breast blisters. Most popular types of litters. Number 1, pine chips. The problems with pine chips are they don't dry quickly and they can cause splinters. And when they break down, they turn into a dust, which is not good for the respiratory health of your chickens. Number 2, straw. It can be expensive if your farm does not already grow it and can easily grow bacteria and mold. Number 3, mulch. Can be the most absorbent. It takes more time to dry, splinters, and can lead to bumblefoot. It must be dye-free, and you can never use cedar, as it is dangerous for the respiratory health of your chickens. Number 4, sawdust. It's quite absorbent, but can cause respiratory problems for chickens when they dust back in it, and it fills the air unless it is dedusted, which is quite expensive. According to backyard homesteading guides to raising farm animals, other materials that can be used are rice hulls, peanut hulls, soft hay, ground up corn cobs, paper, dry leaves, or any other soft, dry material. I want to find the most absorbent material to help. There are many different opinions on what to use. I wondered whether sawdust, pine chips, straw, or mulch would be the most absorbent. Based on my background research, sawdust would be the most absorbent when I placed it in water. My procedure consisted of putting 1 cup of dry material in a glass jar and then pouring 1 cup of water, 240 milliliters, over it and waiting 30 minutes. Then I strained it over a measuring cup and let it sit for 5 minutes. Then measured how many milliliters of water were left. I did this 20 times, 5 times for each material. After the first test, it was clear that sawdust was winning, mulch was a distant second, pine chips was not too far third, and straw was complete last. At the end of my test, I figured out that sawdust would be the most absorbent material for bedding. Unfortunately, it causes respiratory problems for your chickens when they use it for dust baths. So this may not be the best material for your coop, like mine, which is open, but it can be good for under battery cage systems for commercial poultry. There are dedusted sawdust projects, but like I said, these are quite expensive. A combination of materials can be a good option to lower the risks related to just one product. In conclusion, we looked at problems with wet litter, what types of litter can be used, and finally an experiment I did to figure out which one would help the most. For my coop, we have chosen a layered combination of 4 materials: pine chip, straw, mulch, and sawdust. But no matter what type of litter you use, the most important thing is to make sure that you keep it clean and consistently clean it out. So
Home from school on Thursday, March 12, 2020, I never could imagine what was to come. We had heard about the coronavirus on the news, but never expected it to make its way to Indiana. When I left school that day, I had no idea that I would not see my friends for the remainder of the school year, that most of my extracurricular activities would be canceled, and that I would finish out my 7th grade year at home on the computer. For the next 4 months, we did a lot of staring out the window, playing board games, watching movies, writing and mailing cards to our family members, and taking walks. We watched as many local businesses got creative in how they conducted business. Another group that got creative in how they were able to keep going was 4-H. Our local clubs still managed to have our scheduled meetings via Zoom. We made them fun and creative by providing a theme for each meeting. One meeting, we wore our favorite hat, and another meeting, we dressed up as our favorite holiday. As a club officer, I, along with the other officers, had to work together and think outside of the box to keep the 4-Hers excited about their projects. Plus, we knew these meetings gave them something to look forward to. Like 4-H, my sisters and I became involved in online art classes to keep ourselves busy. My dance studio held virtual classes, and my church group had weekly Zoom meetings to keep us connected. I started working on my 4-H projects to keep myself working hard. I had a lot of time on my hands, so I got busy. While during quarantine, we looked forward to being able to take car rides. I used this opportunity to look for things to photograph for my photography project. I was able to photograph some beautiful scenery at local and state parks. Another project I am taking this year is foods. Since restaurants were closed down, this gave me the perfect opportunity to cook for my family. I used the recipes in my foods manual to cook some delicious meals for my family. I cooked a stir fry, a hamburger casserole, and learned how to bake breads with yeast. I also baked cupcakes and let my sisters help decorate them. Looking back, I am thankful for the extra time I had at home. I got to slow my life down and spend more quality time with my family. With most things being canceled, I'm grateful that 4-H still gets to happen. The 4-H slogan is to learn by doing. By having the 4-H showcase this year, 4-Hers have still been able to learn new skills while being able to complete their projects for judging. No, it's not going to be the fair that we've all grown to look forward to, but it will be one to remember. In conclusion, we have had to adjust our lives due to the coronavirus. This may have been challenging, but we have been able to get through it. As actress Carrie Fisher said, "Challenging things can teach you a lot. They can also make you appreciate the times that aren't so challenging." Thank you.
I'm hungry. I'm exhausted. Wait, I food.
I think I know you're thinking. Let's make trail mix. Hi, my name is Nathan Flake, and I'm his best brother, Jeff. Today we're going to be showing you how to make our favorite hikings, Choco Cherry Trail Mix. For this, you'll need a bowl, a spoon, and clean hands. First, dump in the bowl 1 cup raw almonds, 1 cup raw cashews, and 1 cup raw walnuts. Nuts provide protein, which is long-lasting energy. They're also very heart healthy. Next, add a half a cup sunflower seeds. Sunflower seeds provide copper, which helps cells produce energy. Next, add 1 cup unsweetened coconut flakes. Coconut flakes provide fiber, which fills you up in iron, which prevents fatigue. Next, add 1 cup dry cherries. Cherries provide vitamin C and A, which help wounds heal faster. Finally, add 3/4 a cup dark chocolate chips. Dark chocolate chips, my favorite, help control blood sugar. They also produce potassium, which prevents muscle cramps. See, Mom, chocolate is good for you. Next, stir it up. Then put in a container and pop in your backpack, and we're ready to go. As you can see, with a few special ingredients, you can make a healthy and yummy snack for the trail. Any questions?
Seven 7% of our CEOs are women. We've had 0 women American presidents. And when it comes to our paychecks, we make 79 cents on the dollar compared to our male counterparts. But in elementary school, we were doing just as well or even better than our male classmates. So how did girls get so far behind? Today, I'm going to be talking about the importance of girls' education in middle school and what I'm doing to help girls through this difficult time. So it all started with my middle school experience. This is a picture of me at the end of my 7th grade year. In elementary school, I loved going to school. I loved learning, I loved seeing my other girl classmates, but in middle school, something changed. I had really low self-esteem, and so did all of my friends. And when it came to our passions, we were quitting and dropping out and not as into them as we used to be. And academics, girls who used to be proud of their A or openly participate in class would pretend to be dumb. And they cared more about their social media accounts or how they looked. But I learned that this isn't just a problem at my middle school, but in middle schools around the country. Through doing some research through Harvard Education Magazine and Psychology Today, I learned 3 alarming facts about how our girls are going through middle school. First, teachers interact 10 to 30% more with boys in the classroom than they do girls. This is alarming because when you're not getting called on or talked with, you think you're not important in the classroom and therefore stop participating in it. This will not just happen in our middle school classrooms, but then in our college ones, and finally in the workplace. Second, percentage of girls and boys who said yes when asked, do you like yourself? And this is pretty much the bare bones of self-confidence. When you look at elementary boys, 67%, middle school boys, 60%. When you go over to the girls category, elementary girls, it's 56%, and middle school, 30%. Which means 70% of us don't even like ourselves. When you don't like yourself, it's hard to form relationships with other people, to be interested in passions you once held. Finally, 75% of girls aged 14 to 19 felt viewed as a sexual object at school. While this is a separate issue, it also ties into our education. It's hard to focus at school when you're focused on these other things, as well as you begin to think that your looks are more important than your intelligence, personality. While these issues are national, I wanted to do something to help this in Hendricks County. So in the fall of 2019, I created a program called RISE, Empowering Girls Through Reading. It's named after Maya Angelou's poem, Still I Rise. Our mission statement is, by creating trust through a mentorship program, I inspire girls to see their worth and to lift each other up. I use literature as a way for young women to not only see the strength in others, but also to see that same strength in themselves. So now that we've talked about some of the problems that girls face in middle school, as well as a peek into our mission statement, let's talk a little bit more about what RISE is. So first, we work with 6th grade girls. I find this is kind of an apt time to start talking about these issues. Heard a lot about middle school. They're starting to face some of these issues now, and they're curious about what the next 2 years of their life is going to look like. Second, it's teacher nominations. We end up having about 12 girls at each of the schools that I work at. They nominate girls based on people who have great potential and do like learning, but maybe aren't participating in the classroom or just need that extra push. Third, it's a mentorship program. I'm not a teacher and I'm not going to treat it like a classroom. Instead, it's a conversation where we talk to each other about our strengths and our weaknesses, as well as some of the struggles that we face on a daily basis. Finally, it's 12 sessions. Each time we read an excerpt from a novel or a poem, and then we do activities or talk about some of the issues that affect the schools. So, why reading? There's lots of girls in empowerment programs, but RISE is special because we incorporate reading into our curriculum. So this is a quote by Maya Angelou. She says, "When I look back, I am so impressed again with the life-giving power of literature. If I were a young person today, trying to gain a sense of myself in the world, I would do that again by reading, just as I did when I was young." Reading is great for 2 reasons. One, we can live vicariously through these characters and think about their problems, how they relate to our problems, as well as their strengths and how we can see that same strength in ourselves. But 2, reading is a door to all learning. So just because you like reading doesn't mean you're going to be a writer one day. It can also lead to our lawyers, our engineers, and our doctors. So we have 3 units. So in that handout, you can see our story, a breakdown of our units, and then a breakdown of each lesson. So the first unit is discovering myself. We go through role models, who am I, resilience, building self-confidence, and goal setting. My favorite lesson out of this one is role models. It's actually the first lesson that we do. And each girl gets to pick out a role model that they look up to in this book, and then they tell us about it. And this is really cool because you get to see this girl's values and what she looks up to and who she wants to be through this person. Second, we have strengthening relationships. We have friendships, family, relationship dynamics, and social media. My favorite one is family. We talk about conflict resolution, and this is really great because I was always taught, like, you either ignore the conflict or you just stop being friends with that person. But that's not really true in life. So they get to discuss this conflict and solve this conflict within our group. Plus, Little Women is always one of their favorites. Finally, becoming part of my community. This goes back to thinking that you're a valuable member of society. Go through leadership, changing the world, and education. My favorite one is education because I think we always take for granted what we have and complain about school, but this is an awesome way to show them what an opportunity it is and how education can really give you the power to change the world. So what do I want RISE to look like for the next couple of years? So within this year, I want to increase outside reading in RISE participants. This goes into the lifelong reader as a lifelong learner. Second, strengthen voluntary participation in group discussions. We really want to feel like we have a voice, and that comes up with participating in group discussions, thinking that you have something valuable to say. Finally, educate others on the importance of girls' education. While these 12 girls may make a great difference, we need a society and a community that cares about girls' education and cares about their middle school experience. And then for long term, I want to make a lasting impact on girls' middle school experience. So not only do I want to impact these girls that I'll directly speak to, but I want to instill in them that they're leaders and that they can impact other girls in their grade. Go with them this time. Second, expand RISE to 2 other schools in Hendricks County, and with that, train 2 more mentors to lead groups in Hendricks County. So not just have this impact in Avon, but also around our county. And with that, I really want to have an impact on girls' education. If I look back at my 6th grade self, I wish I would have had a program like this, and I think that it would have just made my middle school experience just a little bit better. So with that, I want to leave you with some words from Maya Angelou's Still I Rise poem. Just like moons and like suns, with the certainty of tides, just like hope, spring and night, still I rise. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Andrew Herbert. I'm in 4th grade and this is my 2nd year doing 4-H. Being in 4-H gives you something to look forward to in the summer. I enjoy doing some of the amazing projects that 4-H provides. I've learned many life skills while doing my 4-H projects. One of the life skills I have learned is to take very amazing pictures in photography. I have attended several photography workshops and have learned some valuable information. For example, I've learned how to focus on my main subject. I focus my camera on the center of the subject, keep my camera steady, and take the picture. This year I'm exhibiting a black and white photo of a dig chute. So I kept my camera steady, focused my camera on the yellow center of the flower, and took the picture. This technique gave me a clear picture. Another example is I've also learned how to take different angles of my subject. For example, I have a unique picture of a lighted Christmas tree at the Avon Town Hall Park. I laid on my back in the center of the tree, pointed my camera up, and focus it in the center of the tree. This picture turned out to be very colorful and a good exhibit for my colored board. I've learned skills while using my creativity to build different types of Lego scenes and structures. I want to be an architect like girl, so designing different Lego creations will help me with ideas in the future. I use my creativity. This year I'm exhibiting a lake and camping scene. I use my creativity and the Legos around my house to build a Lego camper. I added headlights to the front, I built a truck to pull the camper, and I added 2 doors and 2 windows. I also added accessories such as a sink, a cabinet, and a bed. I feel proud of the creativity I used for my Lego life. Another life skill I use that I've learned in my Legos is problem solving. For example, I built a Lego person surfing behind a surfing boat. I had a problem because I couldn't get the Lego person to pull the rope, so I had to problem solve and put the rope between his legs and the board. I was relieved to solve the problem. 4-H has challenged me to go above and beyond this year and try new projects. This year I'm going to be showing a rabbit. In October I got my first bunny and named her Opal. Since then I have learned how to take care of her everyday needs, handle her, and keep her safe. I love Opal and I love doing this new project. I have also done woodworking this year. I like to use my dad's tools, so I decided to give it a try. This year I learned how to paint. I learned how to paint. I learned how to use a handsaw, and I learned about the different grades of sandpaper. I felt thankful that I worked with this project with my dad. It was a lot of fun. Doing speech is also a new project for me. I'm learning how to express my feelings, use clarity and expression in my voice, and make eye contact. This life skill will help me communicate in public conversations. In conclusion, all these projects in 4-H bring me great joy. 4-H has helped me learn valuable life lessons that I will use all through my life.
Grows here. That's one of the 4-H slogans. But what does it actually mean? Sure, our members grow lots of corn, hay, pigs, and cows. But what else is 4-H? What else is 4-H grow? Well, 4-H grows me. 4-H can help you gain new skills, get involved with a group of friends, and have fun while learning. This is my third year in 4-H, and I've gained so many skills over the past 3 years. I've learned how to make a bottle rocket, paint it, put decals on it, and I want to. I've learned how to ride in a train better than my third grade, and I've learned about the different types of routes and I've learned how to correctly handle cuts and scrapes and basic stuff. I've even learned how to cut tomatoes or carrots. My basic skills definitely needed for you. If you join 4-H, whatever your interest is, you will become a project. Definitely will become skilled in whatever project you choose. You will grow this way. 4-H will also get you involved with a group of friends. I'm in the 4-H Explorers, Loving Program, and I have met friends of all ages. I've been able to be a recreation officer in my club, and I'm fortunate that way. I've learned how meetings take place and how to work together with a group of people. This is good practice for school because when you do school projects, you are able to work well with the group, and it is a nice feeling to be a part of the 4-H club with so many members, with so many friends. We all help each other grow in our 4-H. 4-H is also so much fun. You learn so much, but you also have so much fun at the 4-H club. I love all the exhibits at the club. It's fun to look through them all. I also like the activities like the rocket launch, watermelon seed study, animal shows, and the fun of hunting and games at the end of the fair. 4-H is such a fun activity to be a part of, and you learn a lot about it, and you have a lot of fun while you're doing it. Learning new skills mean you're part of a group, and having fun are always in what 4-H brings us. So let's keep 4-H going.